If you have ever felt like you have no ability to control what is going on throughout your day and you're living in a state of stress, anxiety, or fear, maybe you're not always living there, but you're often living there, this video is going to be a game changer for you. I'm going to share a really powerful story that's going to help reconnect you in understanding how much we can influence our emotions and our experiences throughout the day by grounding in our internal self rather than the external environment. I'm going to give you 2 really powerful free tools to help you understand exactly how to do this at any time throughout your day. This is going to lead to you feeling more balanced, calm, at ease, and in control of your day, how it goes and how it feels. So I want to start this video by sharing a powerful story, and I'm going to read it to you. And then I'm going to relate this to your life as a busy woman. So an old Cherokee is teaching his grandson about life. "A fight is going on inside of me," he said to the boy. "It's a terrible fight, and it's between 2 wolves. One is evil. He is anger, envy, regret, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, and ego." He continued, "The other is good. He is joy, peace, love, serenity, kindness, empathy, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside each and every single person too." The grandson thought about it for a minute and asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" Before I say the answer, if you haven't heard this story, I would love for you to think about this. Which wolf do you think will win? These 2 wolves live inside each and every one of us. We can call them the evil wolf and the good wolf, or we can call them ego and higher self. Sometimes I like to use those words. So which wolf do you think wins? So the grandson thought about it for a minute, and then he asked his grandfather, "Which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one you feed." So which wolf are you feeding? I want to take this story and I want to apply this to our lives as women. This story is a really powerful reminder about our ability to take control of our emotions, which again, control our experiences and how we feel at the end of the day. So often for much of my life, and maybe yours too, if you're listening to this video, I adopted a victim mentality. And a lot of us do this because we want to understand why we feel how we feel. And so what we often do in order to cope and feel in control of how we're feeling, what we're experiencing, how our day is going, how our week is going, how our life is going, is we like to blame our feelings and our emotions on outside circumstances. And this gives us a sense of control. When we do this, we are putting our emotions and lives in someone else's hands. Again, because it helps give us control, it helps us understand them. But what happens with that is we're not only putting the blame in someone else's hands, but we're also putting the power in someone else's hands. We completely lose our sense of power when we let someone else or something else dictate how we feel. And so my goal in this video is for you to help change that. Again, I'm going to share 2 really powerful free tools that you can use to bring this home. But this is such a powerful concept, women, that we need to anchor to throughout various moments in our everyday lives. So the first step in doing this, in taking ownership over our emotions and our experiences and taking control over our emotions and our experiences, is starting to think about which wolf are we feeding. Are we feeding the evil wolf? Or are we feeding the good wolf? Are we feeding our ego or are we feeding our higher self? And if you think about the typical life of many women, the way our life is designed, it's very easy to feed the ego, right? Our ego or our evil wolf thrives off time, like busy schedules, stress, anxiety, fear, guilt, anger, and resentment. I would love to ask you, as you're watching this video, how much of your day is spent feeling some sort of at least one of those feelings, if not many of those feelings. So often in our lives, we have been feeding and nourishing this evil wolf. He has gotten so strong and so powerful, and he is completely controlling our lives and how we feel. Now, what I want to start to help you to do is to feed the other wolf, the good wolf, our higher self. This is so fun. This is what I love to do. So my goal for you to walk away from this video is to have concrete tools and an understanding of how you can feed the good wolf or your higher self every single day. So think about this from the moment you get out of your bed. And for any of you who've been following me for a while, you've seen that I love my magical mornings. I'm going to drop a link below to my free magical morning challenge, because if you start to think about what you do in the morning, this can completely change the way that your day goes. And I want to help you change your mornings into a magical morning, feeding the good wolf. And you can do that in my free magical morning challenge. So when you wake up in the morning, what are you doing? Are you feeding anger, resentment, rush, guilt, comparison? Are you getting on your phone? Are you checking emails? Are you looking at social media? Are you waking up and just before you even open your eyes, maybe stressing about the day? How are you going to get it all done? Thinking about the past. I didn't show up good enough for this person, or I wasn't the best mom I could have been to my kids yesterday, or I didn't perform well enough at work. Are you stressing about the future? I have to get here and I have to do this. And your whole to-do list, it's so easy for us to slip into that right away from the moment we wake up. So what I want you to start to think about in the morning is you want to wake up the wolf that you want to dictate your day. So instead of waking up the evil wolf or your ego, I want you to feed and nourish the good wolf and your higher self first thing in the morning. What that's going to do is we're going to get that good wolf really nice and strong so that you can easily access her throughout your day. So what are other things you can do in the morning to help feed joy, gratitude, empathy, compassion, present time consciousness, right? So if we can simply take ourselves out of the past or the future and live in the now, which sounds so much easier than it actually is, we are feeding the good wolf. We are feeding our higher self. The more that we can feed this state, again, the easier it's going to be to access it throughout our day. So in the morning, one of the most important things we can do is nothing. I literally set my alarm about an hour before I need to wake up so that I can sit in this space. And I've gradually worked up to this over the past few years. So I encourage you to start by simply waking up 10, 15, 20 minutes earlier to create the space to feed the good wolf, to create the space to feed your higher self by latching onto, like, meditation is a great tool for this. You can find some great tracks on YouTube. I can share some below that are examples that I used. There's a wonderful app called Insight Timer. This is an app on your phone. You select a certain time, and within that time, you can select prompts, dings, gongs, chimes to help make sure that you're staying on track. So for instance, what I used to do is I would set the Insight Timer for 10 minutes. And my goal in that 10 minutes was to stay centered in the now. And so I'm a very visual person. So I would close my eyes and I would picture like this middle central place. And that's now, and that's present time consciousness. What happens is my mind is very busy. I'm sure like a lot of you listening. And so I would find myself either being pulled into the day, the tasks of the day, future, or getting pulled into going over things from the past, right? And guilting myself or feeling anxious about things not going as well as they could have or should have. What happens in Insight Timers, you can set like a very gentle chime or dong for every 15 seconds, every 30 seconds. So at the beginning, I set it for every 30 seconds. That dong was my reminder to let it all go and pull myself back into the present moment. And it's the craziest thing because I don't know about you, but I've just always been wired that I've got to be doing something, right? I've got to be performing or thinking or working or creating. To let myself sit in the now in nothingness was so foreign, but it has been one of the best things I have done in order to take control of my internal state. Again, controlling my emotions and controlling my experiences and how my day goes and how my day feels. In every interaction we experience, we have a choice. For instance, in traffic, my dad hates traffic. He can't handle traffic. He has been my constant reminder and greatest teacher in my life to not let traffic get to me, because traffic is frustrating, right? It's frustrating enough just sitting through it. But what I like to tell him is if I let myself get upset or worked up about it, I punish myself twice. So I sit in the traffic and then I experience the negative emotions from the traffic. I can choose to experience those emotions or I can choose not to. And the best way for me to strengthen the ability to make that choice is by grounding myself in the morning and feeding the wolf that I want to be the most active throughout the day. Insight Timer is a great tool for feeding the good wolf, your higher self, in the morning. What's another tool, as I mentioned, my Magical Mornings Challenge. So in my free Magical Mornings Challenge, I take you through 5 steps that I go through every single morning. And if you're new to creating a morning ritual or morning routine that is on point with feeding your good wolf instead of your angry wolf or your ego, the 5 steps will really help you get into a routine and rhythm and then make it your own and figure out what works for you. Again, so many people's mornings wake up and their days start with feeding the angry wolf or the ego, getting on social media, getting on the news, getting that stress, that cortisol up, which actually for many people is an addiction without realizing it. So we don't feel normal until we feed those emotions, then we can go into our day. So when you first start doing this practice, when you first start going into a day feeling calm and at peace, it actually feels extremely unfamiliar. It feels very weird because there's like this contentment that I think for a lot of us, especially if you have children or you have a high-powered career or a lot of to-dos on your to-do list, which who doesn't, we're not used to feeling this way in the morning. So it's unfamiliar, and if it feels unfamiliar, it means you're doing it correctly. What's another thing you can do in the morning to feed the good wolf or to feed the higher self? Breathwork. There are so many incredible apps right now out there to help support a great breathwork practice. One that I recently added on is called Othership. It is a paid app, but they have incredible breathwork practices ranging from like a minute to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. There's breathworks that you can participate in this app that can help energize you. There's ones that can help calm you, center you. But what happens when we can start our day with breathwork is breathwork literally can get you into present time consciousness really, really quickly. It's also breathing is one of our most efficient ways to detoxify. A lot of people don't know that. And most importantly, it resets our nervous system. So if you're someone who's used to waking up in a state of anxiety, fear, guilt, shame, and if you're listening to this and you're like, no, that's not me, I encourage you to do a check-in, because I think a lot of times we don't realize how much we're feeling this stuff because it's just become so much a part of our day that it feels normal. But the breath work can literally switch you out of that state into present time, which is again where we're going to feel calm, balanced, peaceful, and at ease. When we can start our day with this and we can ground in something like a breath work practice later in the day when perhaps we're having a not so great interaction with a coworker or with someone driving next to us with road rage or our children, we can then use that tool, something like the breath work, to access peace, calm, and internal stability in that moment. Super, super powerful. It sounds so subtle. It sounds so simple, but it's not always easy because we have to literally make the choice to make this one of the most important things that we do in our day in order to make it work. I can tell you on the other side of it, and I mean, I do this work every single day. I still struggle with it every single day. It still works for me, but it is a complete game changer in not only how you feel and how you show up, but how everyone else around you feels. Because especially women, we are like the center of the universe in our family, whether we want to be or not. How we feel dictates how the entire household feels so much of the time. Another incredible free tool I want to share to help you understand how to feed your higher self or your good wolf is my book club. In my online book club, the Best Friends Book Nook, we are reading books that literally teach you tools to do just that. So all of the books that I select in our monthly book club are from what is currently called the self-help section in the bookstore. However, I'm on a mission in this life to rename that section Literature of Possibility. Because what can happen when we read the kind of books that we read in the online book club and we take action using these tools and grounding to these steps in our lives every single day, the possibilities become endless. We start to have a greater ability to tune into ourself, which leads to grounding, balance, peace, joy, and ease. The other thing it does is it helps us to tune in, again, to that good wolf, to that higher self, which oftentimes will key us into things that we want, need, deserve, and desire in this life that perhaps we've completely forgotten about because we've gotten so disconnected. The more we feed this wolf, the more we feed this self, the stronger she gets and the louder she gets. And you're going to start taking action from that place. It's going to completely change your life into living a life that you've designed rather than a life that's been designed by somebody else. Powerful. So I'm going to put a link below for more information on the book club. We do a book a month, which is about 10 pages every single day. And then we have once a month a Zoom call where we gather and we talk on these principles learned in the book and how to apply them to our lives as busy women. Speaking of another tool in the morning that you can ground to help feed your good wolf or your higher self is reading. So again, a lot of times, that's what I'll show on my platform in my magical mornings is reading. So this is a great way to wake up and kind of shut off that monkey mind, to shut off all those thoughts and to ground yourself in something that is more based on love and compassion and empathy and spirituality, growth. The books that I read in the morning are things that help ground me in tools to feed my higher self. So again, I can access them throughout the day. So 2 free tools I'm giving you from this video are access to my free Magical Mornings Challenge. The goal of this is to absolutely transform the way that you start your day and which wolf you feed. And my other free tool is my online book club for women, where we cover only books that help create tools and ways for you to connect with this higher self and your good wolf. The tools shared in this video will help give and remind you of your freedom and ability to control your emotions and experiences throughout your day, your week, your month, your life. These tools are so incredibly powerful. Again, these are what I've been using over the last couple of years. They have completely changed my life. And simply this starts by choosing which wolf every day I want to feed. I hope you enjoyed that video and got a lot out of those concepts. I'm so curious to hear how you're going to feed your good wolf and your higher self in the morning and throughout the day. I would love to hear your feedback on the video. If you have any comments, go ahead and drop them below. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and put a like under it. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes where I will continue to give you free tools to better your life by taking control of your emotions and your experiences. Lastly, I know when you're listening to this, there's another woman in your life that you know can benefit from these concepts. So go ahead and click that share button and send it her way. Thank you. I'll see you soon.